And I am live. Hi, my name is Tyriece Simon, and this is MMA Renegade episode 22. Uh, long time no see, guys. Long time no see. It's been a long time. I think the last show I did may have been the last pay-per-view. Uh, the last pay-per-view, which was what was the last pay-per-view? Last pay-per-view was UFC 268. UFC 268. I forgot what the card was actually. But no, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a lot going on. A lot, as you can see. I can't remember what was the last review that we had. Um, but yeah, it's been a minute. Oh no, it was. It was Kamar Usman versus Kobe Covington. That's the last one. That was the last one. Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot going on. It's holiday season, as you know. Things are getting a lot more hectic, things a lot more crazier, especially towards the end of the year. Projects that are have to get done work wise. Um, and yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. So I'm sorry you guys haven't been able to be more active on here. Um, and I haven't been able to share UFC, talking about it with you guys. So I apologize for that. Um, so this will be the last one of the year for me. And then we're gonna try to recalibrate and go into 2022. A lot of work related stuff, trying to end the year out, and a lot of hours being spent. So I don't have enough time to even be able to talk about it. And I think the next fight we have is Derek Lewis versus Chris Dawkins, which I don't know if people are not going to check that out. But yeah, it's gonna be the last one for me for the year, and then we're gonna go into 2022. Hopefully, have a better and stronger year. Though a lot of this year kind of changed because I have a new job. Lodge has a new job. We're not as active as we once were. Interviews, we weren't able to do interviews just because of how much we were working outside of this. Um, and so it's been a lot of just trying to get it together, trying to get our footing back. So hopefully with this time away, we're able to do that and have a better understanding of what we're going to be doing moving forward. I think Elijah's going to have more of a set schedule moving forward. He's been doing a lot of training leading up to where his position now. So I think he may be able to have more of an established position and roles where he has a schedule now to where he can kind of figure things out what we can and can't do. So that yeah, I think this end of the year, it's great for me and Elijah. Both with new jobs, both doing what we want. But scheduling wise, it makes it a lot harder for us to do as well. I mean, I'm literally in my bed right now doing the show because I literally spent all night looking at these fights and going back and analyzing these things and just seeing certain things and stuff like that and reading. So um, yeah, I'm super tired, but I could not. I wasn't gonna not do a show, and I also, for how long we haven't been able to do a show, I wanted to give you guys a live show, so you get to see it live if you can. If you're on VOD, I appreciate you as well. Um, let's get into it. Let's get into it, right? So there's something to be said. There's something to be said about the month of December for the UFC. Uh, December seems to be the time of the year for the UFC where the most unexpected things can happen, right? Uh, you remember the Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor, the knockdown in 13 seconds. If I'm not mistaken, I think Holly Holm and Ronda Rousey was in December. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Cyborg and Nunes was in December as well. Um, yeah, December is that month of just like things can happen, and the unexpected can happen, and don't take anything for granted. Uh, and last night proved it again, right? Last night proved it again when we get to see the co-main event of Julianna Pena beating Amanda Nunes by submission in the second round, right? Uh, I, as you guys know, nobody really thought Julianna Pena could get the job done. We're talking about Amanda Nunes has been knocking out and beating uh and breaking females that in 145 division. Now she's going back to bantamweight, and you're saying, okay, Juliana Pena, striking ability, you know, looking at that, looking at who she's fought in the last couple of fights, you start to question what Juliana Pena could do. Just to go back to Amanda Nunes' record, right? So Amanda Nunes before this Juliana Pena had submitted Mika Anderson by hurting her first and then submitting her. Felicia Spencer with just completely just dominated and controlled Felicia Spencer at 145, both 145 fights. Beat Jermaine Duranamy convincingly, knocked out Holly Holm, knocked out Christian Cyborg, knocked out Raquel Pennington, uh, had the split decision win over Shevchenko. Nunes has been just dominating these last couple of fights, and even the split decision win, I thought she convincingly won the fight. So you start to question like who can beat this lady. Um, and I said we was in a Discord yesterday. When we go to Discord, you could watch some of our live reactions to a lot of these things, and you watch along with us. I said before the fight that this is probably the toughest opponent that Mendes has faced in her last 2 or 3 fights. And the reason why I said that was, Juliana Pena is a game. Juliana Pena is somebody that you know, she believes what she says, and she's going to try to push that grind on Amanda Nunes. Didn't say she was going to win, but said she has the ability to make it a grinding fight for Amanda Nunes. But I still thought Amanda Nunes was going to win, and you have to go back a little bit before the fight even started. You got to go at the press conferences, and Juliana Pena saying that she's going to go out there and beat Amanda Nunes, that she is beatable, and that she's been wanting this fight for a while because she knows she can beat her. And we all think, oh, this is just somebody trying to boost her confidence up and trying to get herself motivated and trying to sell the fight, right? We don't really think she believes that, and it's one of those things where the importance of self belief is so important because that can motivate you to do things that people don't think you can, or people doubt you can, and it makes you go well beyond what you may have think you could have done, right? So you're facing adversity, and you still believe you can win. You still believe you're the best. You still believe you can beat this person or what have you, and you're able to give yourself an extra boost of energy, mental toughness to be able to stick through the adversity to overcome because you have that self belief in yourself. Um, and I think that played a big role here. I also think another big role was, I think Amanda was talked about it after the fight. Her not being in the moment or not being there. Um, I think it's another thing of just complacency. And I think when you're so dominant for so long, and you're regarded as one of the greatest female fighters of all time in the UFC, um, you start to believe in yourself, and you start to take a step back, right? And you're able to just say, you know what, I have the knockout power. I've been hurting females with one punch for the last 2 or 3 fights. I don't need to do any more than that. Uh, and I think that played a role here where even at the beginning of the fight, you see Juliana Pena get stung, and she thinks she's in trouble, and Nunes is trying to capitalize on it, and engages in the grappling, and then you see in the second round, uh, while Juliana Pena is throwing stiff jabs, just being consistent, mental tough. I'm gonna stand with you, and I'm gonna trade with you. I'm going to make it a grind and make it a dogfight. Amanda Nunes is swinging with everything she can, looping shots, a lot of shots that were missing to try to one punch knockout Juliana Pena. And then got to a point where Juliana Pena was just sticking the jab, being consistent, just being consistent, being trying to take a punch to give a punch. And Good morning, Vlad. You said, great. Yes, yes. Thank you for coming on. Thank you. Flathead Posse was one of the once lost long members that were watching the fight with me in the lodge yesterday. And we had a great discussion in which I'm going to talk about the big debate we had last night in a second. But yeah, I think Juliana Pena was able to stay the course and was able to be consistent, which we've always known she could be. She could be consistent in what she does and be the and grind. Um, and she was able to, just keep doing the simplest things, just keeping it simple, like she said in the press conferences, um, and was able to get Amanda Nunes, who was looking for the one punch, who was looking to just try to knock out Juliana Pena with one big shot, got her to stand flat footed, got her to stand right in her face, got her to not guard, put her guard up, got her to be reckless, um, and was just taking shots because she thought she one big shot was gonna knock Juliana Pena out. Uh, and she was throwing almost half-assed jabs, and they were just she was trying to go punch for punch with Juliana Pena, and Juliana Pena capitalized on it. Juliana Pena said, "You know what? You're gonna try to throw one jab. I'm gonna try to throw one too. I'm gonna try to make it dirty in these close distances. Um, I'm gonna make you work." And then you see Amanda Nunes get hurt because she's slowing down. She's just throwing punches and just exhausting herself. Get hurt, and then Juliana Pena is able to get the rear naked choke and was able to submit Amanda Nunes. Well, no, she took her down, and Nunes didn't fight the takedown at all, and then she was able to get the rear naked choke. And did absolutely what she wanted to do. She wanted to grind on Amanda Nunes. She wanted to make it. She wanted to take her not to the deep waters, but came a little bit quicker than that. She was able to grind on her and able to get Amanda Nunes to. And the thing about it also, the the hooks may not even been in. Like she may have not may even had full control or had the rear naked choke in full. I think Amanda Nunes was just so tired that she wanted out of there. Um, and that goes to show you just the heart of Juliana Pena and the mental fortitude of her to be able to withstand adversity earlier on, is withstand doubters earlier on. Just like myself, I doubted her, and was able to go in there and just stay the course, keep it simple, and was able to have one of the biggest upsets of the year. Is this the biggest upset of all time? I don't think so, but of the year, yes. Is it up there with the biggest upsets of all time? I would say so. Um, and now we look at Amanda Nunes, and we have to see where she goes from here. I imagine you're gonna get a rematch. I imagine you're gonna get Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes to some point. They definitely the UFC definitely wanted to do Kayla Harrison. You guys see that? You guys see that? They want to do Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison showed the crowd. The UFC rarely shows people uh, from other organizations or free agents unless there is a deal that is in the works, unless there is something that they're working towards, right? And Kayla Harrison, I think, is one of Ali Abdelaziz's fighters that he's the agent for. So I mean that there's that connection there, and you know, it seemed like Amanda Nunes versus Kayla Harrison was the big fight that the UFC was looking for. I wonder where they go with that now. I wonder where to go with Kayla Harrison in terms of negotiations, being the fact that Amanda Nunes lost. Uh, but I would have to think, Nunes versus Pena makes a whole lot of sense now, especially it sells a lot better now as a main event, and not a co-main event, as a main event. Um, and then maybe you have Kayla Harrison fight the winner of that, or fight Amanda Nunes at 145 because she's still a 145 champion. Um, because I think Kayla Harrison's 155, so I don't think she could drop to 135. But uh, you definitely have options for Amanda Nunes. She could either fight Juliana Pena again for the 135 belt, or she could fight Kayla Harrison uh, in probably a catch weight, or maybe Kayla Harrison goes to 145. Um, which I think she has. I think she has done that before for Invicta. Um, So yeah, there's plenty of options for Amanda Nunes. I think the rematch makes the most sense, and then You do Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. Probably, if I had to gauge it, probably the spring you get Amanda Nunes versus Kayla versus Julianna Pena, and then the summer fall you get Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. 'Cause I do think Amanda Nunes. I think in a rematch, I think she beats Julianna Pena. I think there's she corrects the mistakes she had. I think another thing with Nunes just treating it as a threat. Right? She's been dominant for so long, and she's been beating people for so long that I think she got to a point where it's not like she's not phased by the competition anymore. She's not worried about the competition anymore. I think this will reestablish to her that no, you can still get beaten, and you know now you have to learn how to correct those mistakes that you had. I think she will. I think she has the skill set. I think she has the power. I think she has the ability and the coaching to be able to correct those mistakes and make it a tougher fight for Juliana Pena. Um, we'll see. We'll see. Juliana Pena may shock us again. I just don't think so a second time around. Now that hopefully maybe when it takes it more seriously, we get a better fight from both guys, for both females. Um, yeah, it was a great moment in MMA and UFC history. 100%, 100%. Um, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, springtime we'll see that rematch running back, and that'll be a main event. All right, moving on to the most pressing matter for me is the main event, right? So if you've been watching this show, uh, I've been talking about this fight for a while, right? So back in, I believe, after Conor McGregor lost to Dustin Poirier the first time around, it- I think I was talking about Dustin Poirier possibly fighting for a title and Charles Oliveira possibly there. I think I said that. Um, oh no, that's not how it was because Charles Oliveira was never going to get a title shot. I remember that correctly. Charles Oliveira was never going to get a title shot, and so Dustin Poirier moved aside because it was going to be Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler for the title. And then Dustin Poirier said, "No, I'm not going to fight for a title. I'm going to fight uh, Conor McGregor a second time and get more money." And then Charles Oliveira came in and was able to fight Michael Chandler for the title, and we all know what happened there. So that's the history of that fight. Like this, if Dustin Poirier says, "I don't want to fight Conor a second time," Dustin Poirier fights Michael Chandler for a title, and Charles Oliveira doesn't get a title shot. Right, so this has come full circle of a year of story building. Is now these two guys where Dustin Poirier gave Charles Oliveira the shine, and Charles Oliveira became champion. Now we get the culmination of months and months of just that story there. Now you get the fight, and I had Dustin Poirier winning. I've had Dustin Poirier winning for a long time, and the reason why is because I thought as good as Charles Oliveira has gotten with the striking, I thought Dustin Poirier is just way better at this time, and I think that Dustin Poirier is just a lot stronger. I think Charles Oliveira makes mistakes, and I think Dustin Poirier can capitalize on it and hurt Charles Oliveira. That was my prediction. Um, and I thought grappling wise, I thought Dustin Poirier would be able to have enough defense to be able to make Charles Oliveira have a problem with the grappling and the takedowns. And I thought on the ground, I thought Charles Oliveira, even though he is phenomenal, I thought Dustin Poirier has enough wherewithal to know how to defend these positionings. Right. So that was my thinking. I was thinking every time I looked, I thought Dustin Poirier has some type of edge to where it's not a clear way for Charles Oliveira to win. Like the grappling, I thought Dustin Poirier was gonna make it difficult. The jiu-jitsu, Dustin Poirier gonna make it difficult, and then the striking, Dustin Poirier is gonna make it difficult. All right, so that was my overall thinking. Right, I thought Dustin Poirier had more chances of winning than Charles Oliveira. Then we get to the fight, and the first round pretty much cemented what I was thinking. Right when I was thinking about the fight and just think how it was going, it pretty much cemented everything I was saying. Right, Dustin Poirier is in there in the first round, able to drop Charles Oliveira in the first round, and that's something to know as well. Way keep a note of that, of Charles Oliveira getting dropped in the first round. Uh, but Dustin Poirier is able to drop him in the first round, and every time there was going back and forth. Charles Oliveira recovered, and he was able to get his bearings, and Charles Oliveira had great moments. The knees to the body, the multi clinch to the body, knees to the body, elbows and close. That was really good. Uh, the front kicks to the body were really good. Um, he Charles Oliveira has a thing about him where you know there are moments where in the pocket, he keeps things very tight to where it's not a huge wind up. He's throwing everything close to where he's able to throw the hook a little bit more cleaner, and not loop anything. Like he's very good about that. And he pushes the pace. He makes you work. He will mix in the grappling. He will mix and take that. Try to mix and take down attempts to try to you know confuse you a little bit. Um, all that was great by Charles Oliveira. You see, if you look at Charles Oliveira, his earlier fights, and you see where he is now in terms of standing up and striking, you see he's a lot better than what he was. A lot better. And that's something that's very interesting. However, what I thought was exactly what it is. There are small instances of Charles Oliveira where he still has to learn and has to get better at certain instances. Like for example, Charles Oliveira would throw a jab or a straight, and he's not able to get the hand back in time. Right, he's very slow and he throw a jab, but he leaves the jab out there a little bit longer, and he has a harder time pulling it back to his face for defend, and Dustin Poirier is able to land a hook or land a straight, and every time Charles Oliveira would make those mistakes, Dustin Poirier was capitalized on it, um, and hurt him. And Charles Oliveira likes to move forward and likes to throw these different levels of striking, these front kicks, these body kicks, these knees, and like I said, some of those times when he's trying to be offensive, he forgets the defense as well, and it gets caught. Um, and it played into this here. Like Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier, they're both going toe to toe with each other. But Dustin Poirier also is the stronger guy. You can see that in the fight. Uh, Charles Oliveira, remember, he's also a featherweight um, that is moved to lightweight. Dustin Poirier is the same too, but it seems like Dustin Poirier is filled out a little bit more at lightweight, to where you can see the power difference. You can see that Dustin Poirier is a lot stronger. There's moments where Charles Oliveira was trying to go for a takedown, and Dustin Poirier was able to shuck him off. Or Charles Oliveira tried to go for a more tight clinch, and Dustin Poirier was able to push him off. Um, there are instances like that where you see there's a power difference there. Um, and I thought every time Charles Oliveira would try to give a punch, Dustin Poirier was able to land one that will move Charles Oliveira's head back throughout the fight. And like I said, he hurt him in the first round. Um, and I thought the pace that they threw, like Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira, to keep in perspective, they threw respectively each over 90 punches. Right, they threw over 90 punches in the first round at the high pace they were going, and Dustin Poirier landed 52 significant shots to the head. 52 significant shots to the head. Now Dustin Poirier he has power in his hands, but he's not somebody that has one punch knockout power. He's somebody that likes to land combinations, is precise, and if he lands the right amount of punches, that's when you'll see him go off and he'll start unloading. But he's not a person that has one punch knockout power. Let's keep that in mind. So we go to the first round. Dustin Poirier, I think, has it 10-9. Um, I thought he had the knockdown in the first round, and then just the more significant damage. I thought Dustin Poirier won the first round. Then the second round happens, and we're seeing a little bit of what happened in the first round. Charles Oliveira tries to go for a takedown. Dustin Poirier tries to stop it, and mind you, Dustin Poirier, to his credit, he he defended two takedowns in the first round, and then defended three takedowns in the third round, um, and was able to get I think it was a wizard and was able to get Charles Oliveira down, right? Charles Oliveira slipped out and was able to go on his back, and then Dustin Poirier throws a a uh, a right straight down on Charles Oliveira, and then we see what I think is the most controversial part of this fight, and which taints this a little bit for me, is we see Charles Oliveira attack the arm. He has the arm grapevine, and then he's trying to hold the wrist, and Dustin Poirier is trying to get out of the position, right? And then Charles Oliveira, in trying to gain a better position, Charles Oliveira again, both are tired. Both have been having a grueling first 2 rounds. Charles Oliveira then grabs the inside of the glove. He doesn't grab. He has the wrist at first, and he grabs the inside of the glove. And once he grabs the inside of the glove, he's able to gain leverage a little bit, and then swing his hips to the left while Dustin Poirier has his arm down. He's able to hold Dustin Poirier's arm there, swing his hips, and able to get a sweep to land on top. I actually think I have a clip right here I could show you guys now. Let me see. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this here. There we go. There we go. All right, so I will see if I could go here. All right, so here we go. You see? I'll point it right back to you, right? So you see right here? He has the wrist. There he has the wrist. This is fine. This is fine. Look at Charles Oliveira's hand. Charles Oliveira's hand's on the back of Dustin Poirier's leg. Right? Now let it continue. Stop. Right there. Now Charles Oliveira, you went from grabbing the wrist, right? You see him clutching the wrist here? You see him clutching the wrist? Now he's going to switch. See? And that's where you get the glove holding. The holding inside the gloves. That's the change. See, so me and Flathead were having this big discussion yesterday. And we was talking about he didn't grab the gloves and he didn't there was no foul to be called there. And I'm watching it. And I'm like, this, of course, there's a glove there's a foul there. And Joe Rogan, who I think sometimes he could be off and on. Sometimes I think he gets overexcited. Sometimes I think he may over exaggerate certain things. Joe Rogan, out of the whole entire night, this is the most he was spot on, where something happened and he immediately was able to call it out before anybody else did. And Daniel Cormier says something to the effect of, Daniel Cormier didn't see it at the time, but Daniel Cormier was wondering why Dustin Poirier flipped over. And Dustin Poirier, even after the fight, Dustin Poirier doesn't really understand yet why it happened. And his coach asked, "Hey, did he hook the gloves? Because why did you move this way?" And Dustin Poirier couldn't even articulate it right after the fight. But if you go back and watch again, I'll play it one more time. Look, he has the wrist. He clearly has the wrist here, right? You see right there. You see how his hand goes down? You see how he went from grabbing the wrist like this to now his hand's going down? That's grabbing the glove. Now watch this part here. You see he has his legs? He's able to swing his hips, keep Dustin Poirier this way with his hand on the inside of the glove, have Dustin Poirier's leg here, and able to swing his hips going this way. Now you're gonna see Dustin Poirier. Now he's gonna pull down on the glove with Dustin Poirier's hand, his legs grapevine, to where Dustin Poirier is trying to pull himself out. And then now you're gonna see, and now you're gonna see him get top position here. There you go. Again, real quick. See? Inside of the glove. Inside of the glove. And the inside of the glove part is important because now you have a little bit of leverage. You can keep Dustin Poirier there while you try to move your body and get the other thing going. So now he has him here. His legs his hands on the inside of Dustin Poirier's leg. He's able to use his arm, use his legs to keep Dustin Poirier's position, while also twisting his arm to the left. And now you're able to hold down on the arm while positioning Dustin Poirier. You see also here has the leg here and constantly. So Dust Flag, you were talking about how Dustin Poirier couldn't he wanted to get out, he couldn't get out. One, if he has the inside of the glove, makes it a little bit difficult. You're trying to struggle, and it also and this again, it's a brief moment, but Charles Oliveria only needs those brief moments. But also it's the footwork, right? So Dustin Poirier is dealing with the foot of Charles Oliveira on the face because Charles Oliveira has the legs grapevine. So now he has the foot on the face of yeah, Charles Oliveira has the foot on Dustin Poirier's face. Dustin Poirier is trying to move out of the face. You see before this clip, you see him trying to push the feet out of his face. So he's dealing with that, and also dealing with the glove holding, and then you see the sweeps. Again, I'll show it here. I may get this taken down, but we'll see. You see here. You see here. There you go. Right. He says, "My bro, I did acknowledge that there may have been a glove flip for 2 seconds, but I don't think it would have changed the outcome of the fight. I see your point, though. No, it does change it does change the outcome of the fight. It does. The reason why is because you have to look at the fight overall, right? So if we're saying in the first round, they're saying a high pace. They said over 90 punches in the first round, which is a very high rate for that division. And we're saying Dustin Poirier landed 52 significant strikes, not just punches, significant strikes to the head, and had a knockdown in the first round, right? And we're saying in round two, we're seeing a little bit of the same. Charles Oliveira goes for 3 takedowns. Dustin Poirier is able to shuck all of them. And now we're saying, it's a fight of just who's able to grind a little bit more, who has a little bit more endurance. Dustin Poirier going to the ground, both guys being tired. Dustin Poirier going to the ground and having to defend off his back, while Charles Oliveira is able to stay on a top position while landing elbows. That's a big difference because that's a game that's a turning point in the fight. You can't say that that you don't think. Well, you can say it's your opinion. It's always your opinion. You can say whatever you want, but you have to acknowledge if you're gonna say you don't think it would change the outcome of the fight, then you have to look at how the outcome of the fight was going. Right? If we're looking at where it was going, we're looking at two guys that we could arguably say it was going to be hard for them to go to a fifth round. We're seeing Charles Oliveira take the more punishment, the most damage in the first round, got the knockdown, and now we're saying Dustin Poirier shucked 3 takedowns in the second round. Charles Oliveira is on the bottom. He took a jab to the face. Dustin Poirier is trying to get out, and as he's trying to get out, he hooks the glove and able to score that positioning and land on top position while Charles Oliveira was able to land elbows on the ground, which again, talking about gas tank, that also hurts the gas tank when you're getting elbowed in the face and trying to keep a full guard positioning. Because he wanted to not make Charles Oliveira transition to another move to where the side control half guard. He wanted to keep him in full guard. Right, that was the plan. And then we see in the third round, Charles Oliveira is a little bit more fresher. He's able to rest on top. He's able to land elbows while Dustin Poirier is on the bottom. Charles Oliveira is able to get the rear naked choke in, get the win. It's a very, very, very big difference. It's a very big difference because if that doesn't happen, we don't see Dustin Poirier on the ground. We don't see Dustin Poirier on the ground. He says the link is in the Discord. Again, you can join the Discord here. You could message me there. We could also watch fights and stuff like that. I'll let me see. This is impromptu. This is impromptu. Underscore his authority and then. Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, it's not. I see like it's not like it's not a thing where people don't know about it, right? And like everybody, all the MMA journalists, every person that covers a sport was able to point out the exact moment of when that happened. So it's not something that we don't know. Um, it's a thing of you know, it's one, we're happy for both guys. We're happy. We're sad for one. We're happy for us. They're both fan favorites. Um, and yeah, you don't want to see a fan favorite get tarnished by a bad thing. And I don't think he necessarily wanted to cheat. I think in a fight, you're fighting for survival and you're fighting to keep whatever you have. It just worked out that way. Doesn't make it right, but I understand it. Um, and yeah, you gotta look at this fight, and it is tainted for me because if we're saying Dustin Poirier is landing a bunch of shots to the head, and we're saying both of them are tired, and we're saying Charles Oliveira can't get Dustin Poirier to the ground, that's the only time he can get him to the ground. That's the only time he can get him to the ground, and we've seen how much that one foul played into what the course of the rest of the fight was. So yes, it does change the outcome of the fight. You could say that you would have had just Charles Oliveira winning, right? You could have say you had Charles Oliveira winning. You think you could beat him, but in terms of the fight itself, yes, it changed the outcome of the fight dramatically. Uh, you said, I admit that I may be biased because I picked Oliveira and there was a ton of buzz around the fight. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's it's hard to not like it's hard to not cape for like people you're fans of, right? You want to, it's a thing where we're the sport, right? You want to cheer for the other team or the other person, and you will say or believe or think anything to go with what your point is. That's just how things go. So I don't blame you or anything like that. It's not like and if you think that it wasn't going to change the outcome of the fight, you're in the right to your opinion. All I can do is just show you what all I can do is just display to you what the fight was, what happened, and then you can believe anything you want to believe from there. But I'm telling you that that foul I'm showing you and telling you that foul gets Charles Dustin Poirier to the ground, and then Dustin Poirier is on the ground for the next 3 to 4 minutes of the fight. To then Dustin Poirier is on his back and is dealing with elbows and with stiff elbows on the ground. And again, we're both tired. I'm taking more damage now in the fourth round. I think he took about on the ground. He took, Tulliver landed 55 or 54 strikes. Um, I can see right now it says on the ground. On the ground, he landed 18 of 25 on the ground. So 18 to 25 of Charles Oliveira punches were on the ground. That plays a big role. That plays a big role in the fight. And Charles Oliveira gets the win. Charles Oliveira gets his first title defense. But I'm not gonna lie to you, it is tainted for me. It is very tainted for me. And I want to come here and say that Charles Oliveira was able to overcome the first round and he was able to go in there and beat Dustin Poirier. But that glove holding and then the sweep and then how that fight plays out, yeah, I can't give it up to Charles Oliveira like that. It's unfortunate. People have that sometimes. There's times where we talk about the Dominic Cruz and Henry Cejudo win, and we talk about how that fight may have got stopped early, or there's many instances you could say, well, that taints a little bit, or oh, perfect example, the Jermaine Durandamy and the Holly Holm fight. Remember that one in Brooklyn where Jermaine Durandamy hits Holly Holm after the bell ends in one of the rounds, has a bunch of eye pokes in the round, and yes, she wins the title, but you can't you can't not think about how much of the fouls play a point in the fight, right? Same thing with this one here. It's just it does play a role in the fight, and you kind of downplay it a little bit because it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair. I will say this: it seems like Justin Gaethje may be next. I think Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira is if we're getting Charles Oliveira that fought tonight against Justin Gaethje, I think this is the worst that Charles Oliveira has been. I think it's the worst. I think there's improvements, but I think it's the worst. And the reason why it's the worst is the amount of punch he took to the head in a knockdown. Like those things didn't need to happen. And it's not that Justin Poirier, the power aspect of it. It's just the way that Charles Oliveira was the way that Justin Poirier was using. So you have again the flat posse that was type in Discord. He has a tweet from Luke Thomas says easy round for Oliveira. Not sure what to say about the glove grab, but if that happened, that's pretty bad to do. Somebody replied, "It happened. It changed the fight completely." Dustin put his arm out. If Dustin pulls his arm out, if Charles Oliveira isn't grabbing the glove instead, and wore him down for 3.5 minutes. Yep, yeah. Because that was the thing, right? If he has the wrist, right? He has the wrist. It makes it a lot more. It makes it a lot more difficult, for Charles Oliveira to hold that position a little bit, right? Because it's more maybe even a shuck out of it. But if you have the inside of the glove, now you have that friction to where you can't really, you know what I'm saying? You can't really do that. And it makes it a little bit more difficult to try to get out. If the wrist, you're able to fight. They're slippery. They're both sweating. They're both Charles Oliveira can lose the grip of his hand, right? But if you have the inside of the glove, you have a friction there. You're able to hold on to it. It's kind of like if you were doing jiu-jitsu while dry, right? You have a little. It's a little more. It's a little bit easier to hold on to while, if you're sweaty, you may slip out or whatever. So yeah, and there's that. But like I was saying, like the 52 punches to the head, the knockdown, Charles Oliveira's willingness to get hit, I think that makes it a dangerous matchup for Charles Oliveira to fight Justin Gaethje. I think Justin Gaethje's uppercuts. I think Justin Gaethje's overhand right. I think Justin Gaethje's leg kicks also. I think, and also Justin Gaethje. While Justin Gaethje may not have the jiu-jitsu of a Charles Oliveira, he has the wrestling of Charles Oliveira, and I think the wrestling. If he had a hard time taking Dustin Poirier down, I think he's gonna have a hard time getting on the inside and trying to take down Justin Gaethje. That's my opinion right now. Until something happens. Otherwise, I think Justin Gaethje can beat Charles Oliveira. And especially like Justin Gaethje has one punch knockout power. What's the difference, right? Justin Gaethje has one punch knockout power to where if Charles Oliveira takes one bad shot, that ends the fight. Whereas Dustin Poirier is one where it's a combination of others. Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, that one punch knockout power, I think that makes it very difficult. I think Charles Oliveira has to shore up his defense going into a fight with Justin Gaethje and going moving forward. I want to see Charles Oliveira take as much damage as he did. Especially when we could try to avoid it or try to not defend against that. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. It's a tainted win. I wish I could give Charles Oliveira a little bit more credit than what I can give him right now. I was impressed in certain aspects of that fight. I really was. But that foul plays a big role, and then with what I seen in the first round, it makes me hard to look at somebody like a Justin Gaethje, Islam Makhachev, these other guys that I think have a little bit more to offer a little bit, and I think have the ability to finish a Charles Oliveira. So that's unfortunate. Todd, can you start putting a link to the Discord in the comments and maybe on the screen during the stream? Yeah, I can. Let me see if I could do that right now. I'll put it in the comment section. I'm not sure I can put it in the stream itself, but I can put it in the comment section. for sure. Yeah, I'll give you a 7-day link. You could, whenever you get to see this, you could put it. You could look in the comment section. You're able to get to log into our Discord. Uh, well, again, we could, you could talk to me. We could talk. We do video calls and stuff like that. We could talk about fighting. I have things planned for the Discord in 2022 that couldn't apply in 2021. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the fight. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens for Dustin Poirier. I think Dustin Poirier. There's Nate. There's Connor. I think Dustin Poirier takes a break. I think he takes a break, and I think he either gets Dustin Poirier. I mean, he gets Nate Diaz or he gets Conor McGregor. I lean a little bit more to Conor McGregor, but I would not be mad at a Nate Diaz fight either because I think that fight is a little bit more fresher, and I would love to see Dustin Poirier at welterweight try it out, and that could be a test for him at welterweight, trying out that, and we'll see if Conor McGregor is even ready to go by spring summer. We'll see how that goes, but. Yeah, that's the main event. Other fights on the card I thought were of note. Kai Kara-France being Cody Garbrandt. I think Cody Garbrandt tried to test out 125, and there's something to be said about 135ers going down to 125. We've seen TJ Dillashaw get knocked out by Henry Cejudo, and then we've seen Cody Garbrandt get knocked out by Kai Kara-France. The competition at 125 is not the same as it once was. There was a time 125 kind of seemed like, it was like any other UFC division or division overall where they're trying to develop it and they're trying to get, see who's going to be the crop. That 125 division is now dangerous. It's not got some fighters on there. Jeff Molina, somebody I bring up all the time at flyweight. Manel Cape, another one. Like there are some fighters at 125 that are making things interesting. So it's not just a division like you can just jump in and just be the man at. Kai Kara-France is a tough, durable fighter. He also has trains with City Kickboxing, so he has striking. And I think also Cody Garbrandt, the weight cut. I thought the weight cut from the beginning, I thought it looked bad. The videos I've seen of him, he looked very, very bad. Look, he dehydrated himself a lot just to make 125. And I thought he looked really, really bad. I thought he looked very, very frail. And I questioned before the fight whether he's going to be able to take punches at 125. And it's hard to say whether he could take those punches or not. But I think the weight cut definitely didn't help. And now he loses again. You look at Cody Garbrandt's career so far. Cody Garbrandt has won 1 out of his last 6. He's won 1 of his last 6. He beats Dominic Cruz to win the championship. Then he loses to TJ Dillashaw twice by TKO. Then he loses to Pedro Munoz by TKO, by knockout. Sorry. And then he beats Rafael Sansal, right? But then he loses a unanimous decision to Rob Font in a brutal war, and that loses to Kai Kara-France. The dude, I don't know where you go with Cody Garbrandt in the future. Cody Garbrandt is the Discord right here, comment section. Cody Garbrandt is kind of at a crossroads in his career, right? Because at 135, there are a lot of good competition at 135, right? That's going to make it difficult for him. At 125, we could say that maybe the weight cut is not so good. Maybe he wants to try it again, but we've seen that, he's going to have trouble there too. I don't know what you do with Cody Garbrandt. It doesn't seem like Cody Garbrandt may know himself. I think he's trying to find himself right now in this in the UFC. And it's crazy to think that this guy at one point was somebody that was being billed as the face of the UFC. Like Cody Garbrandt, along with others like Paige Van Zandt and Cynthia Calvillo and Sage Northcutt. You gotta remember, there was a time where those were the people, those are next up. Those are the guys that Dana White and the UFC were looking to build as the future of the UFC. putting them in posters and sponsorships and advertisements, stuff like that, like what they were getting for the UFC. They were that, and now we're seeing I want to say decline, but we're seeing him in the crossroads of his career, where I don't know what he's going to do. And maybe a team change, maybe something Cody Garbrandt has to do in order to get that fire, or not get that fire, but get that confidence back. I would imagine the confidence of Cody Garbrandt has to be hurt a little bit from all what he's been through. Good win for Kai Kara France though. It's very big spotlight for him, and he's going to be getting a lot more recognition now than it was before. Yeah, look at just Cody Garbrandt. Yeah, the Tia Dillashaw, Pedro Munoz, Ralph Font. The amount of damage he's taken in the last couple of fights, it's very reminiscent of Renan Barão. It's very reminiscent of Thomas Almeida, where like they were like the guys you're looking at in the future of being guys that were going to lead a division moving forward. Renan Barão had the moments that he did, but it sucks. It sucks. And just like Renan Barão was on a win streak, loses the title, and then we start seeing Renan Barão decline and just take a lot of damage. And yeah, I hope for the best for Cody Garbrandt, but it does not look good for his career. I'll be honest with you, it does not look good. Yeah, so that part sucks. Taito Ivasa coming back and being a problem in the heavyweight division. Fan favorite, guy that people love to see. People love the Shui. I would never do a Shui in my life. But Taito Ivasa is somebody that was out of the UFC at one point, now back in the UFC and is on a roll. They're on a 3-fight win streak, and we'll see who they offer him up next. I would say be careful who you give him up next. There are some people at heavyweight that may give him problems, but you can't deny that Taito Ivasa is fun to watch. Bruno Silva beats Jordan Wright, somebody to keep your eyes on at middleweight. I'm telling you. Dominic Cruz beat Pedro Munoz in a very good fight. I don't know where you would go with Dominic Cruz from here. I would say give Dominic Cruz a Frankie Edgar, give him somebody like that instead of giving somebody like a Pedro Munoz. And we haven't seen that fight before. We haven't seen Frankie Edgar versus Dominic Cruz. That could be a great bantamweight main event, and it's good to have that fight before both guys hang it up and both guys regress more than they are. I think Frankie Edgar, he had a tough road. He still looked a little bit good in his last fight. Although he lost. And Dominic Cruz, again, I think that's a good matchup for both guys, where it's they both are well versed, both well balanced. Both I don't think one or the other has knockout power over the other, so I think that makes a very even fight. Yeah, I think that's a good fight for both. Frankie Edgar versus Dominic Cruz is my fight. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, and Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley beats Julianna Pena. Good win for him. I would love to see Sean O'Malley fight, other guys in the bantamweight division. We've seen Tony Kelly beat Ronnie Costa. Maybe we see that fight. Tony Kelly versus Sean O'Malley. Maybe we get Ricky Simone. Nathaniel Wood. Like there's a bunch of guys at bantamweight that I would love to see him fight, other than guys that are either worn out like a Thomas Almeida, people that are just coming into the UFC and fits his style, like Chris Montano and Julianna Pena, who is a flyweight that came up to bantamweight. These are just guys that I think are not on the level of Sean O'Malley, and I would love to see him fight somebody on his level. It's not like you're trying to raise a hot prospect. Sean O'Malley's 27 years old. He's 28 next year. It's what are we doing? if you want to give him fights where he can look good and he could be a star attraction, cool. I just for me personally, I can't get invested in it because I think he is capable of more. And it's like with boxing, right? If you watch a boxing fight and you see guys fighting guys that shouldn't be boxing, you lose interest. And that's kind of where I'm at with Sean O'Malley. I don't really have a vested interest to want to see Sean O'Malley because I'm not seeing him fight guys that will challenge him. And so that's where I'm at with Sean O'Malley. So hopefully that changes next year. Um, but yeah, I overall grading this card, Flat Potsy give you a grade for this card as well. I think it's a solid A. I think it's a solid A. I think that the fights were good. Good performances. The moments that we got from this, the Julianna Pena beating Amanda Nunes, Kai Kara France beating Cody Garbrandt, even the controversy. Uh, you had a great fight for the main card. Josh Evans versus Dan Ige. Josh Evans on a roll now. Yeah, I think this fight card is a solid A great way to end the year out. Of course, you got the fight night, but I think this is really the end of the year. Uh, end of the year card, the big one, that people are going to care about. So, yeah, definitely an A, definitely A. Flat, what's your rating? The way here. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please like if you haven't. If you like the video, comment if you feel one way or another. If you like the stream, if you didn't like the stream, if you feel that I may have missed something, if you feel that maybe you have your opinion on one of the fights that I talked about, please tell me. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. He said A plus because Bronx won and that fight was fire. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. We'll do a lot more watch alongs next year. Again, yes, having Eli on board as well. Eli right now is paying for it. He's a little bit sick. But yeah, we're it's the last stream of the year. Last stream of the year. I want to thank everybody that subscribed. I want to thank everybody that has watched the video that I've done. I want to thank the people that I've interviewed. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I know it's been tough. I know we had a lot more planned this year that didn't work out just because of just timing and scheduling. I have a new job, and I may be working on something else next year as well regarding MMA. That keeps me more in the loop with MMA discussions. But yeah, I definitely appreciate it, you guys, and I definitely think it's you guys that has helped my life and helped me want to achieve more and want to do this thing. Like I'm tired. Like I'm working a lot and I'm doing a 58-minute stream talking about MMA because I just want to put on something for you guys. And so I thank you guys for pushing me and wanting me to do more and I appreciate you guys. And I like to appreciate you guys too. Hopefully a lot more to do next year. Have a nice Christmas. We had a difficult time during the pandemic. Some people were away from family. Some people couldn't be with family. Some people even lost family. And enjoy this Christmas with your family. Enjoy this Christmas with your people. And then definitely appreciate the ones you got around you and appreciate life, man. We made it. We made it so far. We're almost there. We're almost there to 2022, but we're close to the goal of making it 2022, and that's what matters. So yeah. Appreciate you, Flathead, as always. Appreciate Elijah as always. Appreciate everybody that likes the stream, shares the stream, watches the stream. Early Merry Christmas to you guys. Until next time, my name is Tyriece Simon. This has been MMA Renegade. Have a nice rest of the year, guys. I'll see you next year.